This is episode 4 of Painting and Photo Recipes that Give You the Art Advantage. I'm the author, Roslynn Eve. My book's available on Amazon.com or Amazon.ca. Okay, so today you can see we're looking at Whistler's Mother. So that'll be a nice change. And we're going to be talking some more about light to dark. We're going to touch on some other categories as well. So let's talk about how I've removed the detail here so that you won't be distracted by the detail. So we're only looking at what true areas of light and dark there is in this image. Now I picked this image because it's flawed actually. The Whistler's Mother image is, to me, not using categories ideally. So if we look at containment, if we look at detail, if we look at light to dark, and if we look at the placement, in other words, the thirds rule and containment, all of which we've discussed previously, then this is why we're using this one as our base of what we're showing you. Okay, so when you compare this first image to the middle image here, this one, then you can see that the true quantity here of dark is large and medium shades is large. So in that sense it's good because the white is more minimal. It's not really enough for an ideal composition of light to dark. So when we talk about, the quantity, and you can also see that it's up very high. So you're, in terms of, and we are talking about viewing window. Viewing window is where your areas of interest are, and where your eye, it's the path that your eye wants to follow within an image. It's the viewing zone that you want to look at when you're looking at in an image. So you can see here that you're up high. So we'll talk more about that. Let's move this one down and we'll bring up example number 2 here. And you can see with this one that I toned the white down to show you. It's still in the first one, the white to dark is the largest quantity, so that's where you're looking as being the main area of interest, but it's not where it should be. It's too close to the edge. And because of the name Whistler's Mother, we're assuming that herself is what we're supposed to be viewing, her face and her hands, and that's the only color as well within the image, which we've talked about color and some of how that affects the image. So yes, changing this to a light blue, it's keeping it very cool, because blue is a cooler color, but it's strengthening the main area of interest being her head, because this is more white quantity than this is. So it's strengthening us to want to look there more. So that's a good move to do that. Okay. So the next one, you can see I've actually taken the blue and darkened it more down to more of a flesh color. And you can see that that's improved it again, and it's strengthening our areas of interest here some more, because white is, now I've added some white detail, just added a little bit of extra light as we move along, and you'll see that that is helping strengthen her as the main area of interest. Okay, so let's look at this one. Now unfortunately, when you compare this one to this middle image, you can see the white insert is creating much more of an area of interest, the white little matte inner line there. So I'm calling it a white insert. Okay, so with this here, you can also see I've changed the size. And the reason I've done that is to try to contain her in further into the painting, so she's more closer to the third lines, which is the rule of thirds that we've discussed. And the difficulty with this is that it's downsized our viewing area. We like to have a bigger viewing area within an image, otherwise you start feeling like you've got too much space going on, and that's why I've done this, to show you that even though it's improved this, everything is part of your recipe. You change one thing and everything changes. And this is what I'm showing you again, is how true this is. So when you have 40 categories you're using, like I talk about in my book, you have to be careful what each one is doing and how it interacts with every other one. Okay, so we're going to move this one down here. Now we're dealing more with the larger images. Now, notice how I've used the white insert again to create a little bit more white content in here. And you can see that it's still not good opening up the window higher, because now we're moving up again towards the edge. But you can see that this neutralizes it more, because we've talked about light to dark, whether it's color or grayscale, that having the medium, which this is a little bit on the light side, this tan color, having the medium color neutralizes it more, so you tend to not notice it as much. So when you're looking here, you're seeing that it's a little bit better than that one, because the tan color is more light area. So this is keeping it smaller. It's still keeping your bigger viewing window, but again, as we said before, it's too close to the edge. Okay, so we're getting rid of that one, and we're getting rid of that one. And now let's look at this one. Now you can see with this image that we have a triangular shaped window. The tan space here is competing somewhat with the face because of the lightness plus the white insert in the images, and it's distracting from the face having the image underneath the face. The same with this next gray one here as well. You can see that it's better because it's gray, so it's only the black line and it's only the white insert that is distracting from the face, but it's still distracting from the face. It is a lower, more contained viewing window, but it doesn't necessarily have to be quite that low. It could be up about this height here. And you can see when we compare this next one here to the middle one, that making it smaller has helped, but you're still interfering with the face there, with the viewing of the face. The white insert's gone, so that's better. They're smaller, so it's the size of the light area is competing less with the size of the head, but it's still not ideal. So we'll get rid of that one as well. And this last one here, and we'll get rid of this one too. So right now, so far, this is the best one here. This image would be better to be up higher in it. So let's see if we could move that image up some. So let's see, I guess this would be this one. And that way you're getting a bigger viewing window. You see when we move it up. Now see when it gets closer to the edge, when it gets closer to the edge. See how uncomfortable that it is. See when we move it over here, that's still actually good. Of course you can't put it over top of the curtain, but let's say the curtain was black wallpaper starting there or something. Well, you see, then this would be a bigger viewing window, and you could do that. It would be nice to be able to move her down more, the area down more. Not necessarily would it be good for, you know, it would be good in terms of placement of objects, not in terms of the person in the image. We're just talking placement of objects here. But you see how we're more comfortable over here. And I do find that a triangular area that is more long in one direction is better than more of a equal-sided triangle. It's more interesting when it's longer. And I tend to like the window takes up better quantity of space when it would be more this way and down this size. So we're looking at about that size. Okay, anyway, we'll show that more in the next one as well. So this one does open it up more, and you can see that. And I moved this down. It was up here, so I actually moved it down. That's why you're seeing all these little white dots where I highlighted the hat to try to make it a little more white to compete better with the other objects. But anyway, you can see that moving this down here is bringing that more into where you want your viewing window to be, where up here it's too high. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you want it to be more contained, and that's what I was trying to explain, and we'll show you some interesting things in this next one. Okay, well, thank you for looking. I'm just gonna throw my book up here so that you can see. It's The Art Advantage by Roslynn Eve. It's the Roz Method, and you can find it on Amazon.com or Amazon.ca, and there is a link in that little description underneath the video just to make it easy for you if you're interested. Otherwise, we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you. Bye for now.